This radio here, I would bet a good number of you recognize. It's the Zenith Transoceanic model 3000-1. The -1 just indicates that it has the AC adapter option. Plugs in over here. I do have that AC adapter, but I'm not sure where it is right now. Otherwise I'd show it to you guys. Doesn't look too much different than a modern wall wart though. This was the successor to the Zenith Royal 1000, which was Zenith's first transistorized transoceanic radio. The original Royal 3000 came out first, I believe. I think this updated version came out slightly later, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe one of you guys knows. The styling is very similar to the 1000 that came before it, but there are some things that give it away, like this badge here, which says FM AM. The original model was just, AM only. And the control panel here is different as well. Got a bit of a cold, so that's why I sound kind of off right now. But I still wanted to, get a video out. The first page of the charts is unfortunately torn loose. But there's information on different shortwave stations in here, and there's a logging section for you to write down information. Previous owner didn't do any of that, but they did rip a nice chunk out of the charts there. At least it still looks okay when it's stowed away. They put a FM at the top of the dial drum there. It would have been a pretty cool new feature in 1965. That's why it's listed first on there as well. I don't think there were that many FM stations to listen to, but the sound quality is obviously better than what you could get on AM. Alright, let's hear it play on FM first. I had to repair the switch on the volume control. It's working okay now though. A little plastic part in there broke. Just go to the top of the band.
He can, and any girl like you.
You can switch AFC on and off.
1,000 miles seems pretty far, but they've got planes and trains. One.
Jared Stuffed Cupcakes, 16.
No matter how long you're gone, from your old ways, you play forgiveness, watching this. He doesn't look a thing like Jesus, but he talks like a gentleman.
FM performance isn't as good as a modern FM radio or the German radios that were available around this time period, or even a little bit earlier.
Jewel Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof?
Not adequately serving the guests.
It does sound good on local stations though.
Tractor by tractor, you can reach.
Why she had to go, I don't.
You can skip over a long wave, there's nothing to receive there. I like the way the antenna folds away, it's nice. Oh, you never want to pick up one of these like this, one-handed when there's batteries in there. These, plastic antennas break pretty easily, especially with heavy alkaline cells. Just pick it up with one hand on each side of the handle if you're going to carry it with batteries in there. That way you're not putting a ton of load in the middle there. Also says Zenith in there. A nice touch. This is the AM wave magnet antenna.
Talk about that. Hey, we got time for at least one more. I want to get Tom and Grease.
There's 680.
There's the Martins walking in.
My local AM station.
Guests. Different areas of life.
It's got a dial light.
Prominence of any prominence.
Some people modify the dial light to not be a momentary switch, and they put LEDs in there. I haven't done that to this one though.
CCScash.com or call 800-943.
They're lenders. Call my dad direct at 410-653-2600.
Or was this surprise him what's going on? But
He may be around wherever they want.
The Doug Gottlieb Show.
This is a brilliant...
Nothing really much on that band, so I'm going to skip it. There's a lot going on in this band generally, so let's give that a try. Put the antenna all the way up, or almost all the way up. It actually hits the ceiling. Trying to minimize interference here, so I can get something to come in clearly.
with no public, in other words, the FCC is requiring this rollout across
It requires a very delicate touch of the tuning knob.
For 周二, which means Tuesday. 下周二.
that.
There's a lot of stations clustered around that little spot there in the dial.
You will not be moved, no.
You can see I haven't moved very far. Shortwave reception is pretty good today. I'm glad it decided to cooperate. Nothing there. Most of the stations I can receive reliably are right around the 6 megahertz mark, so I don't usually bother looking elsewhere. As usual, these upper bands were kind of fruitless. So if a set is only going to have 1 or 2 shortwave bands, I make sure it overlaps this range here. Unlike a lot of other radios available at this time, particularly from American makers and also Japanese ones, this just has a really high quality feel. Everything just seems sturdy on it. Everything's also nicely labeled. There's a couple things that do feel cheap compared to maybe the earlier Transoceanic, and this is one of them. This battery compartment design is annoying. You have to find like the right spot for that screw to open it, because it's just this cheap plastic piece behind it. The Royal 1000 had a little spot where you stick a finger in there and lift up on a latch to open it. This feels a lot cheaper. The original owner never filled in their name on here. It's stamped R3000-1, and there's a serial number stamped there, upside down. Still a metal chassis set with all plug-in transistors, as you can see. Some of these do go bad. I do remember replacing one of these with a transistor out of something else. Just unplug the batteries. It takes 9D cells like its predecessor. I think I had to change out one of these. I can't remember what I swapped. These transistors grow tin whiskers on the inside, and then they short out. Actually, I think it was one of the ones in the IF chain, which is up here. I think it was this guy here, the third IF transistor. You know, I remember now. I ended up finding an exact replacement transistor, so none of them are incorrect in here anymore. I think it was the first IF transistor that had gone bad, or actually this one's the first IF. In any case, it's all squared away. Chassis on this one's pretty clean. I don't think batteries ever leaked in here. The original owner must have made use of that AC adapter I was telling you about. Over here you can disconnect the internal AM antenna. Although they didn't really leave a great place to stow the plug. It's just kind of like in the way when it's unplugged. I guess maybe you're supposed to leave the back off and kind of just, I don't know, twist it out of the way. I do have the optional external wave magnet antenna that was available for purchase for this set. The wave magnet was standard with the Royal 1000, but not with the Royal 3000, and there's no spot to stow it like there is on the other set. Just plugs in like that. Amazingly, this one is in like time capsule condition pretty much. The suction cups are still like perfectly soft. I don't know how this one has survived so perfectly. Generally those are like, all dried up and cracked. You could actually use this. The intention was you could stick it on the window of like a train or airplane. Probably have an air marshal tackle you if you started attaching something like this to the window of an airplane now. But it was a different era. I feel like they could have come up with a better solution than this plastic thing. Just seems flimsy. The set also came with a good amount of original documentation. Here's the little hang tag that was attached to the side of the radio, or hang brochure I should say, listing all the features. You can tell it's from the 60s because it's got those little starburst things and some atoms. Never seen this option, the antenna transformer. The beat frequency oscillator is also very rare. I actually do have one of these in another kind of junkier example of this model. I had meant to transfer it over, but I never got around to doing that, and I don't have the instructions for it. Here's the service manual. To the serviceman. Not sure if this came included or not. But yeah, it's full of all the diagrams and parts lists and whatever that you would need. I decided to put it all on one big fold out, which is actually kind of nice because you can see the whole circuit all at once. And then down here is the, what is this here? The AM RF section, I think. So maybe it's not all on one diagram. And the layout of all the adjustments. The alignment procedure for AM and FM. How to string the dial in case you break the dial string. Doesn't look as terrible as a lot of German sets, but it doesn't look fun either. And here's the operating guide. Claim it lasted 300 hours on those batteries. I think that's down from the previous model. This has more audio output power, I think, so they'll use those batteries up faster. And modern alkalines will last longer than that, for sure. That's for carbon zinc batteries, which, as you know, kind of suck. And they've got it in a bunch of different languages, like a modern manual. I guess they didn't want to print, you know, different manuals for different regions. Here's the warranty. The notes section. It's a very classy radio. You can see this set has an issue that's very common for this model. The vinyl has shrunk a little bit and pulled away from the sides. The very earliest Royal 1000s use real leather, but most of them used fake leather. And this one uses fake leather all around, I believe. And it was made in the USA. If you can't tell by the way it was built on the inside. It's a hefty thing. Probably around 10 pounds. Maybe a little bit less, but it's definitely sturdy. It's mostly made out of metal. Well, thanks for watching.